We're talking about our marriage.
Oh, boy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Three Geeks conversation. We are joined by legends, William and Bonnie Bartlett and Daniels. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining us and taking the time. Usually I ask about people's acting career, but I kind of want to hear how you guys met and kind of the love story that formed back during St. Elsewhere.
Well, where we actually met?
Mm-hmm.
At Northwestern University.
Oh, wow.
We were both freshmen at Northwestern. I was from Moline, Illinois, and Northwestern was the natural place for me to go. And I always wanted to be an actress. I was always acting anyway. And that was a good school for me to go to. And Bill was in the Army for 2 years. He had been on Broadway in Life with Father, a play. He was there for 2 years, and then he was drafted. And then when he came back from the Army, he went to visit his sisters who were in a play in Chicago with Walter Houston. And so his mother said, you know, what are those schools that you were talking about? Because somebody had advised him about going to college, to go to a good college, a good university that featured drama, you know, but don't just go to school, get an education. Mm-hmm. And so his mother said, what are those schools you were talking about? It's right out here. So he got on the L and he went out to Northwestern, and they pulled him in, and he took an exam, which he didn't think he finished and didn't think he did very well. But they took him in the freshman class. So we, in the middle of the freshman year, we were both put in a group to be in a play, and they started reading. We went into a studio and they started reading all the parts. And you want to take it from there?
Well, I heard a lot of the students, as the teacher was casting this, and he picked each one to do part of the reading. And I thought they were terrible. I thought to myself, I'm not sure I want to be in this poem. Except at that point, I heard a voice in the back of the class, and I knew that was an actress. So I turned around and I looked, and there was Bonnie. And so I waited for her at the door, and I said, how about a cup of coffee? And she said, you're too short. I said, come on, have a cup of coffee. She said, okay.
And we've been together ever since.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a sweet story. And, you know, another sweet story is I had a kind of boyfriend back in Moline. And when I met Bill, and this is before anything had happened before us, I just had met him, and I thought, oh my God, this feels different than anything I've ever felt before. So I called my boyfriend back in Moline, and I said, well, I'm not coming back to Moline, and I'm not going to see you anymore because I've met somebody that I really feel for. And it made me sad that I had to do that. So I was crying, you know, I was kind of crying. And Bill was in the dressing room because it was opening night. We had to put it, and he saw me crying. So he came over to my station and he said, here, let me put on your makeup. So I sat there and Bill put on my makeup. And of course he was better at it than I was, really, because the theater, you know, he had done it. And so he put on my makeup while I got ready for the show. And it was a very sweet, but a very emotional moment because I was very sad that I had to hurt somebody. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But I knew right away. I just knew.
Same cup of coffee for 75 years almost.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I don't know how that happens, but sometimes I guess it just does.
I had a question for both of you, and you guys have been such a staple in cinema across several different decades. I was wondering, is there something you missed about like old school, like when you first started out, or where you really gets exciting about like cinema today?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Oh, just when you first started out about being in film and TV, like, is there something that you kind of miss when you first kind of got started versus maybe today in the 2020s, the 2015s, that era?
You mean that we would miss about the theater?
Oh, no, wait, what?
I mean, the theater was the thing that we were interested in. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, television we didn't even think about. I mean, we just, it was theater. And we did Macbeth at Northwestern together. We did lots of plays together and lots of plays apart. We went to New York, yes, to be in the theater. Yeah. Then television kind of came about with like craft theater and various wonderful television shows that were long drawn, not series, but long shows. And then we did that because it was still acting and we enjoyed it. And eventually Bill thought it was the best way to go. That television was the answer to what he wanted because he could live a more normal life. And so we came out to California. But they wanted him everywhere. They wanted him in the theater. Mike Nichols, people like that, saw him in the theater, and then they wanted him someplace else. And I was doing the lead on a soap opera, which I do not recommend for anybody who loves to act, because it's hard and it's not even good acting. You don't have a chance to act well. All you have a chance to do is say the lines. And no, I don't recommend that at all. But long form, television is swell.
Yeah, I've heard soap operas are very, very like quick and dramatic.
Yeah, it's all phony. Totally. Yeah. Totally phony. You don't get a chance to do what you really want to do as an actor.
So on the series finale of Boy Meets World, and the emotional moment when all the students tell you they love you before leaving the classroom and you don't respond until they've walked out, how did you personally feel filming that scene? And what did that moment mean for you as Mr. Feeney saying goodbye to everyone that you've filmed with for 8 years?
Now, she wants you to tell about the last show on Boy Meets World, when you said goodbye to those kids that you had been teaching for 8 years, not 7 years. And how did you feel?
Well, I was alone. They left. And I said to the empty room in the classroom, I said, I love you all. And that was it. Class
dismissed. And each person came up and said goodbye to you.
Mm-hmm. Did they?
He was very moved.
Mm-hmm. It was a very moving moment.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what he remembers about the show. And we do see those young people. They're middle-aged now, but I mean, not middle-aged, but in their 30s, 40s. They have kids, all that.
They're our age. They're our age.
Yeah, they're 30s or 40s. They're not. In my day, when I was young, that would be middle-aged, but nowadays it's young. And we're old.
I'm blessed, very blessed.
Very blessed.
And I have just one last question for me. If you could leave one message for the generation that grew up watching you, what would it be?
I didn't know.
A generation that grew up watching. It's pretty much, you do it all the time.
What?
Tell the kids, the people that come up. It's what Feeney said. Feeney had all the words. Michael Jacobs gave you all those words. Be good, kind, all that jazz. Be good, dream, try, do good, all that. All those words of wisdom. He does that all the time on the cameos. People ask him for things, and he did one today, and it was about your true love. Hold on to it because There's nothing better in life. Something like that. I saw you do it on a cameo today.
Oh.
There's nothing better, and it may never come again. So hold on to it and treasure it.
Yes.
That's Mr. Feeney's words about love. The writers write the material, and you have to have the material. But then if you can take that material and make it something even better, that's what works. And the audience tells you that. The audience tells you what you've got because they respond or they don't. Just as they would respond to me when I'm playing I can play bad people, not bad people. Yeah, bad people. Like on The Golden Girls.
Yeah.
I played her best friend. I was a bitch. I was nasty to all her friends, and I was nasty to a little sweet Jewish man. Terrible lady. And they picked up on it. Boy, they gave it to me. What's her? Thorndike. Barbara Thorndike. They didn't like her. So they let me know.
What's good advice that you would give to a kid that lives in today's world?
What's the advice you would give to a kid? What advice would you give to a kid who lives in today's world? I know what I would, but let's see what he does.
Well, I think I would recommend that they get as much education as they could. That would prepare them with that education. They would come away from it knowing what they wanted in life, and they'd go after it.
That's good, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yes, he very much believes in that, in the education. I also believe that in today's world, it can be a very dangerous world. It can be a difficult world. And so that I think that you have to make sure that kids, as they're growing up, know what's going on. Always, when they're ready, will vote. Be sure and vote. Always. When I was young, I never thought about the voting. And I don't think I voted when I was 18 or whatever it was. But I didn't think about it at all. And now, oh boy, do I realize how important it is. So I think that young people do have some civics education. Well, he mentioned education. So I would say also civics education to know what's going on and be prepared to be a good citizen as well as a good person and working well and everything. Also be a good citizen. Mm-hmm. It's important more than ever.
That's the
that
truth.
answer. It is. I love that answer. So y'all got to work together quite a bit. I feel like that's a thing most couples in general, but especially couples in Hollywood, don't do as often. What was that experience like for y'all? The ability to get to share the experience on set together.
Of working together?
Yeah.
What do you think? I think it was very easy. It was just we fell into it. We just fell into it, and Bill loves it because he can say anything he wants to me. he loves to tease, and he can say anything he wants, and he daren't do that with some other actress. It might be offensive, so he can't do that. He can say things to me that he'll say, should we just take a 30-minute break while Miss Bartlett learns her lines?
That's great.
He's bad. He's bad that way. He really is bad that way.
That's a very husband thing to just tease.
Yeah, it is. It's fine.
I have one final question for myself, and I have to ask because I do a Matlock podcast, and you were in an episode of Matlock and Perry Mason, Bonnie. What were those experiences like?
Oh, it was good. I remember it well. And the Perry Mason and let's see, Matlock. Oh, God, I love those shows, and I love doing them. I love doing any kind of a part, and you always have good actors around you, and that's lovely. I mean, that was a lovely show. And
what was it like working with?
Yeah, Perry Mason. Oh, yeah, I loved all that.
What was it like working with Andy Griffith?
Andy, well, he's just lovely. I mean, he was fun and lovely and silly, and I enjoyed it. I never had a problem with him. I never had a problem with. Now, who was the other one you were talking about? I loved him.
Raymond Burr.
Who?
Raymond Burr, Perry Mason, Bonnie, William. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking to us. It's truly an honor. I'm a big fan of both of you. And Bill, you got me through elementary school, middle school, high school. I introduced my daughter to Boy Meets World. We watched Girl Meets World together. We met Ryder Strong a couple years ago. And this is an honor. I wish she was here to meet you too, because she would be just floored. So we all thank you guys so much for the time.
You guys went to Dancing with the Stars this past season to watch Danielle Fishel on her dance night and she recognized you as the person with the most impact in her life. What did that feel like for you guys being there for that moment?
Well, we were so happy for Danielle.
I cried that night. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just so proud of her, and she was doing what she wanted to do, and she was so good at it. She's so successful at what she wants to do, So even though it's sort of a show that we wouldn't watch ordinarily, but they're so enthusiastic and they're so competitive, and it's fun. It's fun when you're there. I wouldn't want to do that myself.
Right.
She loves it. And she's very, very ambitious and very, she wants to do everything. And she loves dancing now.
It was great to see Mr. Feeney behind a desk after so many years again.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's very nice. I think that's what she hoped for.
Yes.
That people would enjoy.
The point got across. It was a very moving moment.
Yes. I agree.
Well, again, thank you guys for the time, and thank you guys for everything. Like, so much of my childhood, so much of all of our childhood. When we found out we were going to get the chance to talk to you guys, the reason there's so many of us here is because everybody wanted to be a part of it, and I couldn't tell everybody no. So
about our store in New York?
Yes.
Bill and Bonnie Daniels shop in New York. It's online. It's an online store, and our son Rob runs it. And you can get anything you want, pictures, books, anything you want. People request all this stuff, and this is a way of us giving it to them. So we'd appreciate it if you would just mention that.
Absolutely. And we will be back in Connecticut on Labor Day. So we will make a stop in New York to go to the store also.
Yes, we will.
100%. I'll put the link down below. Everybody look in the description. You guys can click on the link. Go check out their store. Comment, share, subscribe, and we'll chat soon.
You'll find something you want.
Absolutely.